anything. That time we have to persist that data, whatever information we are taking from web page or any form, we have to persist that data. For that purpose, we use database management system or database. So in database also we have 2-3 different type of database. One like normal relational database, one NoSQL database like MongoDB. So today mainly we will discuss about relational database. The main difference between relational database and NoSQL database is in relational database we have relationship, we have different tables, and we have a relationship between different tables like one-to-one, one-to-many. But in NoSQL database, we persist our data in a more natural way, like a document. So suppose we have one blog post where we have a blog post and a few comments. In relational database, we will show this as a one-to-many relationship. Post as a one single table and comments as one-to-many. It's more than one comment may be there on a single post, so we will show it as a one-to-many relationship. But in NoSQL or MongoDB, we will show it as a single document, single post document with comments. So basically, a relational database manage data in table. The database are managed by Relational Database Management System (RDBMS), and RDBMS supported database language like Java or PHP or Python. We have a specific programming language for database manipulation to create or delete database or manage such data. So almost for all database, we use a language called SQL or SQL. SQL we will use for almost create, update, delete, or manipulate any data in database. But normally, like Oracle or MySQL or Postgres, provide a slightly different structure for SQL syntax. Like mostly same, like same type of syntax for insert, update, delete, or select, but slightly different for different vendors or different for Oracle or Postgres or MySQL. So when we are creating any database, that time first we install a database in our system. So normally we download it from internet, and normal software we install it in our laptop, server, or computer. And after installation, almost all database provide a client connector or one console. It's something where we can write down the syntax or its programs. So I think almost Raghav, Apurva, and everyone almost use any database, right? And you know how to install database, correct? Hello.
Yes, Ved, I do. Yes.
So basically, database.
I have not worked with any database as well.
So database is mostly like a software. So it's available in exe format for Windows and like DEV format for Linux system. So you have to download that database, and you have to provide installation directory name, and you can install it. And once you install, it will work like a database server or database, and you will get one console or one client window where you can type and connect to database. So normally it's behave like a server. So you have so if you have to connect to the database, you have to provide IP address. Normally, if you install in your local data laptop, then you have to provide local IP address. That's local host or 127.0.0.1, and you have to also provide port number. Raghav, you know what is a port number?
No, sir.
So
नहीं पता सर.
port number is same like window or door physical. So we provide a virtual space, or you can say something where every software will communicate or run without interfering to any other same running software. So whenever you are opening up Facebook or Google or anything, normally you are providing that IP address of Facebook server, and you are providing port number 80. So virtually we classified and defined different port number for different things. For HTTP, we provided port starting from 8. For FTP, we provided different port number. So using port, you can communicate to a different software or server. So it's mainly a type of window or door. Using that one, you can communicate. Means other world also can communicate. So suppose in my laptop, if port 80 is open, then only I can use HTTP. So then only I can browse any internet website. So whenever we are installing any database, suppose it's MySQL, then we have a default port 3600. So you have to mention that port also whenever you are connecting to any server. And after that, you have to provide username and password to connect to that server. Suppose you install MySQL in your laptop, then if you have to connect to that MySQL and you have to create a table, or you have to update table, or you have to insert any information into that table, you have to provide IP address, port number, username, and password. Then you will connect to that database. Clear? So
Yes, sir.
Yes sir. Yes.
Once you will connect to that database, then only after that you can provide any SQL command, and you can create first database, then tables, then columns, and after that you can insert information. So for creating any database, first you have to decide, if suppose you are developing one microservice, registration microservice, then you have to first decide which type of database you want, relational or NoSQL type. So in our registration system, we are using relational database. In relational database, we have a clear structure and relationship where we can define it as a table. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes sir.
But suppose if you have to develop a reporting system.
Yes sir. We are able to hear you.
Yeah, or you have to provide a logging system where you are providing logs, error logs. That time you can use NoSQL type database also. Why? Because in report you can store a complete report as a document. In log also we can provide complete log as a document and structured format without any transaction support. So whenever you will design any system, you have to think what exactly you are going to provide, what type of support you want from your database. One very strong character of relational database is transaction. Normally, all relational database provide a very strong transaction support, and NoSQL still not provide any transaction support. So, what exactly transaction here? Transaction means when we have more than one step or method. Suppose if I have to transfer 500 rupees in approval account, then for successful this transaction, first banks need to deduct 500 from my account, then add 500 from then add 500 rupee to approval account, then only it will be successful. Suppose if bank deducted 500 from my account but not able to add 500 to approval account, then bank need to roll back. Then it again need to add 500 into my account. If it will not do it as a single unit, then transaction will fail. So transaction means all the steps should work as a single unit. If any step fails, then it should be rollback. That type of support only available in a transactional database, not available in NoSQL database or MongoDB or Cassandra or Apache Solr. So, but if you are developing a banking system, then you have to provide relational database because you are providing transaction. But suppose if you are developing one blog and comment, you can use NoSQL database also, like MongoDB. So whenever we develop any application, we think about pro and cons, and based on that one, we select our database. In our MVP also, for registration or for appointment visit, we are using relational database. But for notification, report, logging, we are using MongoDB. Any doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
And we have one more type of database. We call it indexing or searching database, like Elasticsearch or Apache Solr. Such type of database mainly store data into XML and support searching almost all the field. Suppose if we have to store say brand name, no. Suppose we have to store MDDS element. We have more than 140 Excel sheet. And now if our requirement is not only based on MDDS element ID, we can search any field. And suppose if I have to quickly check if what is the MDDS data type or element size of gender. If we have to provide such type of storage system or database, that time we will use indexing or searching type of database. When we are using relational database or even normal MongoDB type of database, that time maximum we are providing anyone can search based on our primary key or indexing key. So suppose if we are storing one patient with patient ID 56 in our database, that time if we have to search that patient, then mostly we can search using that patient ID, local ID only. But suppose if we have in this patient fields in patient table, we provided name also, email ID also, DOB also. But suppose if I have to search based on address or name or email or even DOB, that time we have to provide Apache Solr or Elasticsearch. In this type of indexing, every field will be searchable. If we have to provide same implementation in say MySQL or Oracle or Postgres database or MongoDB, that time manually we have to provide code in Java. We have to provide search capability for almost all fields. So suppose if I have a 140 Excel file in my code directory, and we have 10 fields, even average 10 fields in one Excel sheet, and we have 140 Excel sheet, and do calculation and how much search capability we have to provide. So anyone can search any field. And also, if we are providing such type of search capability, we are not providing any transaction support. So that time we will go with any indexing based database. Same way when we have to provide report or when we have to provide logging in microsystem, suppose one patient name is created and after that we created visit and appointment, and somehow we have to audit if in our logs. That time we need a centralized logging system that will store all the logs from all microservices, not from a single microservice. That time, such type of log, we need two different system, database system. One for storing all the logs. That one will be NoSQL like MongoDB. And after that storage, we have to search also a specific log. So we will provide Elasticsearch in XML indexing. So in any microservice, if you are building any microservice, then you are dealing with almost all three type of databases. Any doubt? Apurva, Raghav, Aditi, any confusion between indexing based database, NoSQL database and relation database?
No, sir. I just want to get some more idea about Apache Solar. Rest all is clear.
Okay, so suppose you have to provide a search box. Then you provided a registration, and you have to provide a search box where you can search patient name, or in single search box you can search address also. Sometime when you are searching, suppose Ved, that Ved maybe more than one patient may have a Ved name. So when you are developing such type of search and you are writing Ved, first option is you will provide we have a syntax, SQL syntax like in database. You will provide a like, and based on whenever you are typing Ved, you will get Ved field or Ved Prakash field, or it's matching all the Ved Prakash names. But the problem is you can't provide such type of search. You may also need maybe more than one Ved Prakash may be there, and you need more information to verify if you are searching for correct that particular Ved Prakash or not. Then you may need mobile number also, maybe address also. So then you have only one search field, one input parameter, but you want to search in more than one field. How you will do that one? How you will implement such search? Suppose we start with relation database. You will get that input in your Java side, code side. You will write down one SQL command. You will provide more than one column name. You will provide a where clause, and after that you may provide a like. But again, that means you will get an n+1 loop, and more than one column you are searching, and you are not providing very efficient search. It's simply like search, like wildcard. Like is nothing more than wildcard search. And even in that one, you can't provide a spelling mistake or synonym support. So when you have to search in more than one field, that type of capability you have to provide is not only Apache Solar. You can use Elasticsearch also, or any usage-based library you can use. That's called indexing database.
Got it, sir.
Got it. Suppose you have to develop one, Aditi, you have to develop one, suppose you have to provide one search where anyone can search any field. That time you will use indexing search. Or suppose you have to provide a generic name and you want all the information of brand names, different brand name. Brand name will be more than one for one generic medicine. And also you have to think about Dr. May, which is may do spelling mistake. That time you will go with Apache Solar or Lucene based library or Elasticsearch. Such type of system you cannot build with relational database.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Got it. For logs also, you may generate a lot of logs. For a simple registration or simple appointment system, you may create a lot of logs. That log you will store in NoSQL like MongoDB. But again, it's just storage. And for logs, suppose you have some issue in appointment, some appointment method throwing some error. That error you have to verify, because in microservice you have maybe it may start from registration microservice, may start in visit or maybe in appointment. So you have to trace all the log. From all the logs, how you will get a single log? How you will get that log? Just for every log you can't provide a variable, and for every log you can't provide MySQL command, where command. It should be dynamic. Any log you can search, any log generated can be searched. That time you will provide that we call ELK support in microservices, Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. For that ELK support, you are providing MongoDB for storage or directly for Elasticsearch for that type of searching and indexing. We have one more type of database, but we will not discuss today. It's where we are storing time and performance. But in any MVP or whenever you are developing any product, we will mainly use these three type of databases. Okay, Diti?
Yes, sir.
So any doubt in MongoDB or Cassandra or NoSQL database? What is the main difference between MongoDB and Apache Cassandra? Any idea?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Both are from same family, NoSQL database. But MongoDB is mostly like a single database, storing everything. But in any real production system, you provide more database and you provide a configuration we call master slave. In master slave configuration, whatever we are writing on master or our primary database, we are keeping one backup also in slave. So if somehow or due to some reason, if our master fails, we can get backup from slaves. In same way, when Cassandra, same same database, NoSQL database from MongoDB, the same, but in cluster environment. In cluster environment, we have a different nodes. So in cluster environment, Apache Cassandra will replicate itself to every node. So whatever we are writing, we will get a copy on every node. So when we have to provide a complete fail-safe single database without any master slave configuration, that time we will use Apache Cassandra. But ground level, it's same NoSQL database, same family. Just we want fail-safe solution. Even technically, it's not completely fail-safe, but we can say like it's cloning itself to every node, so it's a fail-safe. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, and how we suppose we have now database in our system or laptop, but normally we can't use it as is with our program in Java or Spring or anything. For that purpose, we need connector like JDBC connector, and after that in Java we have complete one framework for interacting with database. That's in Java technology level, we have JDBC, and on framework level, we have JPA or Hibernate. So for simple work, for simple learning purpose, we may interact with our simple client or console. But for real programming, we always use a layer or framework on top of our database to do any programming. So even if you will learn normal insert, update, delete, select type of syntax, but in professional way or in practical way, you will always use based on what program you are using, which type of program you are using. So for Java, it may be different. For .NET, it may be different. So anyway, so suppose we created one database. So after we created a database, we name it something. Suppose it's a test one or test database. After that, we have to create one table. So in that one, suppose we created one table named student or employee or anything. We name it. We can name anything to table. Is just a noun, so we name it anything. Student. We name it student. After that, we have to provide attribute or columns. How we provide a columns or tab into Excel? Same, we have to provide a column name. So in our front end or any form, when we are providing first name, last name, email, job, that will come as a column inside our database. And just with every column, in every table, we will define a primary key. So primary key is a column, and in that primary key in column, in every row, we will provide a unique ID that will define that row inside table. So suppose if we have one form where we are taking one student values, first name, last name, and this first name, last name, Ved and Prakash, and we are storing in database. Then in database, we have table student and we have a primary ID. That ID we can choose. Normally it's incremental value or anything. So suppose it's first data in our data, this table, then it may be ID, maybe primary ID, maybe 1. And after that, first name, that value will be Ved, and last name column value will be Prakash. So if you will see it from raw side, then it will be ID number 1, Ved and Prakash. From column name, if you will see, it will be primary ID, first name and last name. Any doubt?
No, sir.
So why we provide this primary ID? So sometime in table we provide some information, and in different table we provide a different information, and we may have a relationship between two tables. So in this example, if you will see in binary table, if we have binary ID, binary name, address, and region ID, and we may have a different table as a region table where we will provide region ID and region name and state. So if you will see this region ID and this region table region ID, in binary table region ID and in this regional table region ID, both have a relationship. So somehow these two tables are interconnected. We have a relationship, and we normalize this using this ID. So we may have a single table where we may provide all the information like region name and state in a single table. But instead of providing all information in single place, we break down it into two different tables and provide it a relationship. So it's the same entity relationship. We have binary ID, binary name, binary address, and one region as a separate table, and we have a relationship. So in terminology database, we have a repository to store data. Where we are storing data is called database. Table, the part of database where we store the data. In table, we have columns or attribute, and where we store data and our data as a rows. Again, attributes are column in a table. For example, a customer table might have the attribute name, address, city, and each attribute has a different data type like string, integer, or date. So suppose if we are storing name is a string. If we are storing age, it's integer. If we are storing date, then it's type date. So we have different data type also in database. So whenever we are storing, whenever we are creating any table, that time we are providing column name also and column data type also. So in column or attribute, whatever value we provide, it's called rows. So like Ved, Prakash, email ID, my email ID, it will come as a rows, and first name, last name will come as attribute. Relational model, basically a relationship between different tables. So if we have a primary key in one table and foreign key in a different table, and we have a relationship between both, then it's a relational model. And a software system that manages data in database and based on the relationship model called Relational Database Management System, RDMS. And for manipulating database, data, table, column, attribute, row, whatever syntax we are using, whatever programming language we are using is called SQL. And constraints are like whenever we are defining primary key, foreign key, or whenever we are defining this column should be unique, that's called constraint. We already discussed about primary key. Suppose we have different items, Flipkart or any e-commerce website. So how we will identify all items? Whenever we are storing items, we are providing item attributes, item name, color, size, type. That time in table we are also assigning one ID. That's the primary key or customer ID or our item ID. So in database or in any table, how uniquely we can identify any row, that's our primary key. And when we define more than one table and we have to access those tables inside our Java program or JSP or Sublet program, that time whenever we are fetching that data from database, it's always expensive task. Instead of every time fetching from table, we can create one index for fast access. So that index more behave like a cache layer. So in index, we define a composite view of tables and we create one index inside our database. And our program access that index instead of our tables. That's called indexed. So every table we define inside database, we call entity. Entity is basically a concept where we call the complete table structure as a single entity, and relationship between different tables are called entity relationship modeling. So whenever we are defining tables inside database, and we have relationship like one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-many also. That's entity relationship modeling. Normalized database. So normalizing is a technique in database where instead of providing a single class and duplicating same data in different tables, we provide small tables or only specialized table, and we provide suppose if we have one same table, instead of if we are providing a binary table with all the information, then it's not normalized. When we break down it into a region table also, where we provide two different tables with small information and interlinked table with relationship, then it's a normalized database. So normalized concept is basically breaking down one single database into a small single table into a small table and provide a relationship between tables. Now we have data definition language DDL. It's mainly same thing like SQL statement, and it's subset of SQL. So using this DDL or this SQL statement, we can manage our database, create, update, delete database tables. So now we have some example, real world example. Before that, any question? Any confusion? Raghav, Apurva, Aditi, Akriti.
No, sir.
No, sir. You're good.
So in this example, how we will create a database, simple database. You will enter your username, password. After that, you will get this type of MySQL console command line. And if you have to store create any database, then you will provide name create database, and after that you have to provide database name. Suppose you are creating a database patient, then you have to provide this create database and patient, and it will create a database. Now you have created database, then you have to use that database. For using that database, you have to provide use, and after that your database name. So creating a database is very simple. You have to use create command, create database. After that, name, whatever name you have to give to that database, you will provide that name. MySQL will create a database. Then if you want to use the database, you have to use this use keyword, and after that you have to provide database name. Now you have database, and now you are using the database. Now you have to create a table. So in this example, you can see we have a SQL statement like create table, and after that we have to provide table name. So in create table, it's in capital, it's a SQL statement, and after this customer is our table name. So we will provide whatever table name you want. You have to provide that one, and after that, this cust underscore ID, it's a column name. And after that, int5 is data type. We want integer, and we want 5 size of that integer. And if you want any default value, then it's default 0. It should not be null, or it should be auto increment. So basically, we are creating a primary ID here. Primary key we are creating here. And after that, we have comma. Now we have a surname. It's a next column name. After that, varchar we are providing. So in MDDS, if specification, Akriti, you can remember we provided varchar 50, such type of things. Remember?
Yes, sir.
So based on MDDS, if you have to create tables, then you will create the same way. You have to provide varchar and 50 size. And it's optional or not, so you will provide like not null. Hello.
हाँ जी सर. सर
And after that,
नॉट नल क्या बताया था आपने?
कई बार आप उस कॉलम में कुछ नहीं भी फिल कर सकती हो, करेक्ट?
यस सर.
नल क्या है? जैसे कई बार ऑप्शनल अगर कुछ फील्ड हो फॉर्म में, फ्रंट एंड में, और किसी ने सबमिट कर दिया और वो हम बैक में वेरीफाई नहीं कर रहे हैं और वो डायरेक्ट हम डेटाबेस में भेज दें, या हो सकता है ना इस टेबल में ही मेरा सरनेम ना हो.
यस सर.
तो हो सकता है मेरा सरनेम ना हो, मैं सिर्फ फर्स्ट नेम ही डालूं. पर यहाँ क्या है कि हम फोर्स कर रहे हैं कि सरनेम होना ही चाहिए. वो इन्फॉर्मेशन ये अगर आप नहीं देती हो तो ये स्टोर नहीं करेगा.
ओके.
समझ में आया?
हाँ जी.
ऐसा नहीं होता है कि जितने भी कॉलम्स आपने डिफाइन किए वो सारे कॉलम के आप वैल्यू दोगी तो ही वो आप टेबल में इंसर्ट कर सकती है. कई बार हम 2-3 इन्फॉर्मेशन देते हैं और बाकी नहीं भी देते हैं. आपने ही मुझे बताया था मेडिकल लीगल केस नहीं है तो एफआईआर नहीं देंगे. हेलो.
हाँ जी सर.
तो जब मेडिकल लीगल केस नहीं है, एफआईआर हम नहीं दे रहे हैं, तो टेबल में हम एफआईआर का वैल्यू तो नहीं भरेंगे, डाल सकते ना.
हाँ जी.
तो उस टाइम में तो वो नल होगा.
यस.
तो यहाँ पे जब हमने नॉट नल दिया है तो हम फोर्स कर रहे हैं कि नहीं वो होना ही चाहिए हर केस में, ऑप्शनल
Yes.
नहीं है.
यस.
सेम. और मान लो यहाँ पे हम एफआईआर नंबर दे रहे होते हैं और नॉट नल हमने अगर लिख दिया होता है तो फिर वो फंक्शनली गलत होता है. उस टाइम हम नॉट नल नहीं दे सकते हैं एफआईआर के साथ ना.
यस सर.
वही है कॉन्सेप्ट. समझ में है?
यस सर.
After that, we define primary key. In primary key, if you will see in bracket, we provided cust ID, already defined column name. Then after that, we provided key name, surname and first name. So using this key name, surname and first name, it will compose with primary key. So now we have to change our index. We have to add or remove something after table creation. So suppose you want to add index into the customer table. For that purpose, we have alter table. After customer add index. Capital letters are our syntax, SQL syntax, and smalls are our name. So customer and cities both are customer table name. Cities is our column name. So using alter table, you can change anything inside your table. Right now you are adding index and you are adding a city. And if you have to remove something from index, that time you will use alter table customer drop index names. Here drop and in previous example add, both are keyword for adding or dropping index. Alter means we are going to alter table, in customer is table name. So now you have more than one database, 4, 5, 6, and you have to check if database name already available or not, or if you have to verify how much database you created. That time you have to use show database command, and it will give you list of all database available. So in any RDMS or any database, one is physical database, whatever we install, and inside database we have a different database. Never confuse with database with physical database. So in a single database, we may have a more than one database. So you created one test database, you created one registration database, you created one appointment database, you created one visit database, CC database. So if you have to get all the list of database, then you will use show database. So database. The same way, if you have to get list of all tables available inside one database, first use database name keyword, and after that use show tables command. Same way, you can see all columns from table name, index from table name, status from database. So in any database, data manipulation language DML is a subset of SQL commands, and we have 4 different type of statements that we collectively we call DML statement: select, insert, delete, and update. Select for selecting all columns name, table or other information, insert for inserting data, delete for deleting table or database, update for updating database or table. So in this one, we will see how we insert some data inside table. In this one, we have keyword insert and into. So if my table name is customer, then we will use insert into, and after that we will use this customer as a table name. And after that, we have to provide values. In values, we have to follow same column sequence, and we will provide values, and it will insert into our table name. And if we have to provide column name also and value also, then we have one more approach: insert into customer, where customer table name. Then we have set also. In set, this one is keyword from SQL. And after that, surname means we will provide column name, and after that we will provide values. One more approach is we can provide insert into table name, and we can, in bracket, we can provide all columns name. Then we can provide values, and inside bracket we can provide all the values. So when we have to delete any data, we can use delete keyword, delete from customer table name, delete from our keyword from SQL, delete from customer. And if you will use only delete from and table name, it will delete complete data. So always use where. When you are using delete from customer, where is again keyword, and you have to provide a something that can verify, like customer ID is 1 or customer name is equal to where. Some condition you have to provide after where, and the only column satisfying that condition will be deleted. So if we have to update, then we have a update command after a table name using same set, and after that we can provide column and value. And here lower is database function. Using that one, we can provide a small case. For select statement, we have select keyword. After that, surname, first name. Surname is column name. First name is also column name from the SQL syntax, and customer table name. So using this one, the simplest one, using this one, we will get surname and first name from our table customer. But suppose if we have to provide a lot of column name, we need a lot information from a lot of column name. That time we will provide wildcard. Select wildcard from, and after that we have region table name, and where we provided a condition. So it will verify or check that condition and provide all the information based on that condition. For sorting and grouping, we have from, where, and an order by. In this type of SQL syntax, select, after that we have first name, surname, from, after that table name. In where we are providing condition, title should be Mr. After that we added and, provided and last, when we will get all the information, we also want order by surname. So we provided order by also. And we have group by also. So in group by, we will provide group by syntax. And instead of order by is last in logic, but in group by, before processing, you will apply group by. Apart from SQL commands, we have different functions also available in any database. Like we have to calculate average, minimum, maximum, sum, count. For that purpose, we have different functions also that we can use in any MySQL database. We have having also. Using having clause, you can aggregate data into a group again. So select city, in count we provided wildcard, max salary from customer, group by city, and having count greater than 10. In distinct, if we have to get a unique name, so then we will use distinct keyword. Same way we have queries for joins, where we have to join two tables. Like in our early example, where we provided binary name and region as a two different tables, but in front end we have to provide it as a single table information. That time we can use join. In this one, it's a simple join where we are using select binary name, region name. It's like common column between both tables we are providing here, and after that we have from and table name, and after that it's order by. Same way we have a different join also, where instead of column we are manually providing column table name and column name inside where clause. So that's all. Now I have to attend one meeting, so that's all for today. Any question, any doubt? Kriti, Apurva, Raghav?
No doubt. So, but I think we'll need to go through it once again, okay, and do our study as well. थोड़ा बहुत समझ लेंगे.
Exactly. वो MySQL 30 मिनट 1 hour में नहीं खत्म किया जा सकता है.